So glad you could join me. It's a lovely October morning and we're on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales, to be precise the River Aire, and I'm going to be trotting maggots for grayling. It's a mixed fishery here, so we're alright to fish either bait or fly as the whim takes us. This is the tackle I'm using. It's a float rod with 4-pound reel line, fixed spool reel, an Avon float, and a 3-pound nylon hook length with number 12 hook. I'm going to be using either double or treble maggot and maybe a brandling worm, as the mood dictates. We're starting off. There's a lovely bit of a run here at the bridge. It looks like ideal grayling water. It's a nice sort of shallow run that leads down into a slightly deeper glide, and there's a nice bit of pacey water throughout, which is where you'd expect to find the grayling. So we're just letting that float trip off the reel. Keep the bail arm open with my index finger just poised over the spool, just letting the line out and stopping it occasionally to hold the float back a bit. And in the event of a bite and a fish on, if I have to strike, I just crook my finger over the line and then hurriedly snap the bail arm over and play the fish. That's the dangerous moment with the fixed spool reel when you're trotting, because that split second of slack line, especially if you're using barbless hooks, is where you're likely to lose a fish. So let's just see what happens here. It's just nice and steady, just easing it through the pool, and hey, we're into something there. And it's a good fish. He's not a grayling, no, that's a trout, and it's a belter. Good heavens. Oh, look at that. Oh, this is not what we're expecting. Well, it's half what we're expecting actually. It's a week into the close season and I don't think the trout really know the rules. They're not really supposed to take your bait from now on right through the winter, but this one certainly has. Oh. In fact, it looks a little bit like a sea trout. It's very bright, unless that's just the way the sun's catching it. That's interesting. Let's see. Again, like I say, it's the close season, so we'll get him in the net, get him unhooked pretty rapid, and get him straight back into the river with as little fuss as possible. I'm going to try and keep him in the net, in the water, so that there's no chance of overstressing it. We managed to play him in quite quickly, because that's a good fish. I should think he's a good £1.5, maybe a bit more, which for a northern river trout is a good fish. Let's have a look. And I'm not sure here. He's not got the ring spots of a brown trout. It does look like a sea trout that's been in the river in fresh water for a few months and lost the silver coat, or most of it. But you can't really be sure. The Aire's not known as a sea trout river at all, so I don't know. Anyway, back he goes. Just get a bit of breath and away we go. And this is another bit which, again, the next couple of pools down, and this looks like prime grayling water again. I could be wrong, but it's not very deep, maybe a couple of feet just here, right at the head of the run. And there goes the float, dancing away. And he's under, and and we've got something else on. This time it really feels like a grayling, this. It's sort of trying to pull backwards rather than the frenzied runs that you get off a trout. It's just that sort of dogged sort of kiting and gliding about. It's a good grayling, this. Not as big as that trout, but it's an okay fish, that. The lady of the stream, and she's in the net. So get the hook out as quickly as possible, get her back. In fact, it looks, yeah, the hook's already come out and it's fastened in the net. So she's unhooked herself. Very slippery characters, these. don't like being handled at all. In fact, if I get any more, I think I'll try and avoid handling them. There she goes, back into the river. Not exactly what you'd call a textbook release, but there we go, she's gone. So we'll try the same spot again, because grayling a shoal fish, where you find one you'll generally find more, and they are quite well spread out at this time of the year, but as the weather gets colder, the shoals will become more localised but denser. So, oh, there we are, there's another straight away. Much smaller one this time. Still quite a dogged resistance, but only maybe 5 ounces this time. Quite a small grayling. And again, very difficult, very slippery. Just get hold of the hook. Promising looking glide here. So I'm going to try the maggot and stick again, see if we can find any more grayling. Quite a few from that last little run, but only one decent one, mostly quite small ones. Let's see what the score is here. Quite shallow up there, I don't know whether it'll hold them in colder weather in a few weeks' time, but this looks a little bit deeper, this run here. Lovely autumn day, mid-October. I guess it's carrying about maybe 10 inches or a foot of water, something like that, above summer level. There was a big flood last week, and now it's, oh, there we go. That feels more like a trout, to be honest. Yes, it's a trout, definitely. Yeah, he's working up now. Brown trout, and of course they are out of season, so he's got to go straight back. Oh yeah, bonny one that, bonny one. We nailed it with that on the fly. At this time of the year, out of season brown trout are a bit of a nuisance, especially when you're catching him on bait. I'm trying to avoid handling him. I'm going to try and avoid touching him. And get the hook by the disgorger, and there he goes, he's off and away. So generally my policy is, where trout exist in a mixed fishery like this, if I catch more than 2, I'll move on to another spot. It's strange, grayling and trout seem to sort of have their own defined territories in rivers. You'll find nothing but grayling in one place and then find them hard to find in another, but catch an endless run of trout. To me, trout on maggot is not good sport at all. They're too stupid, really. They're not much of a challenge to catch at all on bait, really. Come to that, grayling can be quite easy to catch when they're feeding hard. But it's nice to try the float fish.